Well, welcome back to Lupin the Third and a review. Now, I basically have decided to retitle this series from part to episode. Excuse me about this. Excuse me. There we go. That's better. Yes. Now, now there's a lot of series talking about for Lupin the Third. So, right now, I'm basically discussing the first 4 episodes of the very first series, Lupin the Third, Part 1. Lasts only 23 episodes, and this is currently, as of right now, the oldest anime I have ever reviewed. Yes, seriously. And if you're really curious, how long ago did the very first series come out, you might ask? Well, this was released from October 24th, 1971. Yes, 1971. So, yes, it makes it basically the oldest series I've actually adapted. Yep. Yeah, so basically, well, the thing with the Lupin the Third anime is that it loosely adapts basically the manga, and they adapt the manga out of order, which is quite strange. Oh, in case you're curious though, the original manga is in fact the original chapter. It was ever adapted for any of the anime. Nope, never was. Yeah. Here I'm discussing the first 4 episodes. Yep. Now, in the case of like episode 1, that one's called Dead Heat. Well, actually, the title of the episode is Lupin is Burning. Or Influenced, yes. Now, the story for this one is you have Lupin not committing a crime per se. Nope, he's invited to become a part of a race. Yes. And by the way, in case you're curious about dubcast, Lupin is voiced by Tony Oliver. We also have a Jigo Mine in this episode. She's voiced by the wonderful Michelle Ruff. And in the case of Dongjin, his best friend, the one who's here pretty much all the episodes, he's voiced by Richard Epicard. And here's a strange fun fact about the dub of the series, of this one anyways. He owns a studio that dubs the series. And they dub it with TMS Entertainment. And I believe that's the company that actually makes the series, which is interesting that they collaborate with him for this dub. And keep this dub only came out just last year, because here's the strange thing about the series, about this particular first one. This series never received a dub. Nope, never did. For decades, there was no dub of the series. It remained undubbed for years. Part 2, through recently, those were all dubbed. Part 1 was never dubbed. And then, eventually, I guess last year, even though it's been a couple years since the passing of Monkey Punch, I think it was for the 50th anniversary of the anime, they decided to release all the episodes dubbed. And starting here with the first 4. Now, the inspector himself is voiced by another Richard, mind you. Yes. He is voiced by... Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, I was definitely correct by that. Doug Ernholtz. That's who basically voices him in this anime here. We also have this guy called Mr. X. He's voiced by Tarek Steven Pierce. Yeah, I knew who this guy was just simply by his voice. Yes, and if you're curious though, did this guy ever appear in the manga? No, not that I remember. I mean, if you look at it, basically, like, he only appeared just in the first episode of this series, first episode of the next one, episode 65 of part 2, and the remake is Lupin Burning. Yeah, that's simply put basically those appearances. So basically, his organization, the Scorpion Gang, wanted to basically kill Lupin because he was in their way. So they organized this race. They spent $15 billion building this humongous racetrack in the Orient Desert. That is according to the dubbers, so don't blame me for that. So, and according to Lupin, when he participates in the race, all the drivers besides him, one air driver, are all fakes. The cars are real, but the drivers are all fake. So he's driving along, he's chit-chatting, he's basically on the road, and he's also curious, what's his girlfriend up to, Fujiko, where she breaks into Scorpion, and of course she's worried about him, and of course X takes her, and then he proceeds to put her on like a old 60s, like, oh, let's just put like a woman on this, strap her on this table, and he takes this device, which looks like basically a little handle, and he proceeds to rip over her top down, and then he proceeds to have the thing tickle her. Yes, seriously, tickle her. And then, of course, Lupin, halfway through the race, decides to have Juggin take his place as a driver. Oh, by the way, the air driver is the inspector himself. It's like, and of course, Juggin knows still, like, damn, he's actually a pretty good driver. And he drives wild because Lupin finds out that Fujiko's been captured. So, Lupin disguises himself as a plumber. So he basically breaks it. So he goes to repair stuff in the ladies' restroom. And he breaks all the pipes, causes a humongous water mess. Which you think, ew, that's water pumped into a freaking toilet. So the agencies go on the roof, release more water, and of course, like, oh, they're gonna Fujiko mine, kill her. They think the car is gonna blow up, but no, Lupin actually got the guy who was gonna put like this special oil in his gas tank. So this is so funny. So he basically just fries a lot of them. And here's the thing, they're all still alive because it's the 70s. It's cartoonish violence. So as for the commissioner, he gets fried too, but he somehow survives. Fujiko's like, if you arrive sooner, the worst happened. He's like, I should arrive later. Because he has a strong desire to have sex with her. Yes, Lupin is obsessed with having sex. Like, he has an obsession with Fujiko. Like, he's massively in love with her, and he really wants to have sex with her. That's the kind of thing that he does. In the manga, he's a lot worse. Where basically, every time he sees a woman, he just walks up to her, pulls on her pants, and proceeds to have sex. Without her saying anything about it at all. That's how Monkey Punch basically drew the damn thing. So, yeah, that part of Lupin the Third, I'm glad was happening for the end, because the first time I ever saw Lupin ever in anything was basically his cross-up with Case Closed. That was fantastic. I love that. I love the whole gentleman thief aspect about him. So then he proceeds, after he frees Fujiko and gives her a replacement coat to cover up her torn top that she had. So rides along, he goes back into the race and proceeds to win it. And then we have it where, by the way, the people running the race, it's all Scorpion. Yeah, the whole organization is real that basically ran the race, but it's only name only. They had nothing to do with this race at all. So you get the winner trophy, and the thing is basically a bomb. Normally this would kill somebody, nope, they survive, no problem. Maybe of course, toward the end of the race, he put these little strange devices on the cars, which after the race, he proceeds to blow up all the cars. Yeah, blow up all the cars, and then he gets arrested by the inspector. Then, of course, like, oh, that basically he's able to do this because Fujiko had a warrant on her. I'm like, yeah, she's a thief too. Of course you have a warrant on her. And Jug doesn't have a warrant on him too. So she gets Lupin, and he gets like, aw. She really does like him. Of course, it's hinted at in the next episode. She does. By the way, this is Lupin was by chapter 53. So then, of course, Lupin, and of course, the inspector thinks he's got Lupin by the handcuffs, and Lupin straps thing to his exploded car. And by the way, after this, the inspector is not seen for the next 2 episodes. The next episode is a weird one, where we have this guy who's sort of a magician who shoots fire out of his hands and he can float. Though they figure out, and of course he's also bulletproof. Yeah, and you're thinking, wait, is this the cartoon violent stuff? No, he simply is bulletproof. And it's not revealed till the end of the episode the reason why for this. Oh, and things starts out with Fujiko wants to hide from this guy because he stole some from him. What did she steal from him? A film. The film itself is not exactly revealed till the episode what the heck she stole. So here's Lupin. It's not his mansion. It's not the same house he had in the pilot movie. It's a different house. I'm sure he's got many houses across the world. So he's just fishing for a while. Jugen is basically just relaxing, and then of course, like, oh, fish, and of course, then you see Fujiko butt naked. Yes, luck of the dubbers didn't cut this out. We do see Fujiko's rear end on screen, which that's good fan service for male viewers. Female viewers, they probably don't like it very much. Though some might, but not all of them. So, in case you're curious, though, do I know any other time in the franchise where Fujiko goes butt naked like this? In the manga, she does whenever she attempts to do anything with Lupin, but aside from that, not really, no. So, and then, of course, basically, the guy breaks into Lupin's house looking for Fujiko. And it's all up, and of course, he shoots him with his gun. He fires a machine gun at him. He tries to fire a turret gun at him, and that doesn't work either. And how the heck is he bulletproof? And he takes Fujiko to his house. He's like, talk, where's the thing? And then he proceeds to strip her down to her underwear, her white underwear that she's wearing. By the way, it seems like every episode she switches clothes, while Jugen and Lupin wear the same exact attire. Lupin, in case you're curious though, there's this thing in the franchise where every series he wears different suit coats. The first suit coat I ever saw worn in anime form was the red suit coat. This one, he's wearing a green one. This is referred to as the Green Adventures. Also, this series is also referred to as the Classic Adventures. So then basically after dumping her in water, still doesn't do anything at all, then eventually she escapes. And yeah, it's revealed what the heck was on the film. It's a formula. What was it for? The chemical he used on his body to make his body bulletproof and fireproof. Yep, and he's eventually killed by the end of the episode and never seen again. Yeah, that's loosely out there from chapter 14. Episode 3. By the way, in case you're curious, though, now first episode is Lupin. The third is Lupin is burning. Is Lupin burning? Second one is called Man Called Magician. The third one is called Farewell My Witch, and episode 4 is called One Chance Prison Break. One Chance Prison Break is actually adapted from chapter 2. Yes. So kind of say basically that, well, 3 of course is loose adapted from chapters 24, 49, and 50. 2 is adapted from chapter 14. Well, this one is quite interesting to say the least when it comes to this one. Yes, the inspector himself is not really in this episode. Not really, no. We have a woman named beautiful named Linda who appears in this one, and she appears just in this episode. Yeah. And who voices Linda, the beautiful Linda? There is no credit for her at all. Nope. There's also Dr. Helen and Stern. Stern, who looks especially like Doug Juggin. No really know why. Now, in the case of Dr. Helen, it's not exactly credited who voices him, but I can tell by the voice who voices him. Dr. Helen invented this thing called the Third Sun. It's a special flower that Stern used it to make weapons with, and he wants it destroyed. He wanted to do it all. Not Stern. In the case of Dr. Heller, his voice, I can tell by his voice. That's Kyle Herbert's voice. For some reason, not credited for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but it isn't. So it's kind of like a spy episode per se, mixed a little bit of romance. Lupin kind of falls for her. Fujiko appears brief. She appears at the start of the episode, then she's gone for most of the episode. Then she appears at the very end, and it's a good, heartwarming episode. It's sad to see that the two original characters for this episode are pretty much killed off by the end of the episode. Yep. In the case of the fourth episode, this one has Lupin simply dressing in the outfit he does from the opening title sequence. By the way, the opening title song is called Lupin the Third. It's like, Lupin the Third, Lupin the Third. It's like that a lot. It's basically just saying his name a lot in the song. Lupin the Third, Lupin the Third. Yeah, that's the song for like about the first 13 episodes of the series. Not really sure why they chose that. It's interesting. I like the beat to it, but it just like it's the lyrics is just basically the same thing over and over again. See, whereas the black guy with the gun thing, and of course he steals a chest. He opens it up, like breaking no problem, and then the inspector shows up. First time since episode 1, where then you proceeds to shoot Lupin, and of course the stuff is carried away by Juggin. And then eventually is carried away by another hook, this time a helicopter by Fujiko. And of course, well, Juggin takes him to jail. Has him stripped down to completely nothing. He also has the key. As for where the key in this episode, by the end of the episode, it's not really needed because they bury the thing in the forest. And when they get back to the forest, it's gone. I'll get to what. So this whole episode is simply Lupin in a prison cell for a period of 1 year. No, seriously, 1 full year in prison. Where apparently he didn't want to shave, he didn't want to cut his hair, so they couldn't bring any sharp objects. But so eventually he got out of the straitjacket he was in for the past year, simply by growing his index finger fingernail. So he cuts that, he starts shaving himself with a damn thing, and eventually gives himself a haircut. Gives him his old lamb chop look he basically is known for having. And then he, tells the Lupin, he thinks it's Lupin, and of course for Fujiko the whole episode just frequently tries to break out Lupin, but Jaga's like, nope, leave him be, he's probably taking a nap. And she does this not once, not twice, but like 3 times. She tries basically digging a hole, she tries climbing up the wall, she even tries basically using a helicopter. So eventually, of course, Juggin disguises himself as a priest. And at that point, that's when he finally escapes. He just walked to disguise as a guard, while the other guard, he basically took the uniform from him, takes his place to be executed. Yep. And of course, Fujiko thinks he's dead, but don't worry, for the next episode, she completely forgets about it. Yep. But these were pretty good episodes to start with. Yep. And basically, the first episode was like 30 full minutes. Yes. Now, one thing I keep hoping, though, is Lupin going to steal any jewels in this series? Well, he's a jewel thief. So, might get a chance to see that. Who knows? Though, next episode is debut of the samurai who's in this series. Yes, a freaking samurai in modern day. Yes, it's Gustav the 13th. It's Gustav the 13th. Yeah, he's in the series. Though, in case you're curious, though, does he get the dirty things like Juggin and Lupin tend to do? No, he doesn't. He's like the straight man to their comedy. That's what he's kind of there for. He's like very much basically he will willingly work with Lupin. Yeah. But that's simply put the anime. That's simply put the first 4 episodes for you. Yep. So yes, that's a particular view. I got many more videos coming today, and before I get back to Lupin, next will be 3 straight manga videos. I'm reading the manga to this video up. It will be reviews for new chapters of, actually 5 chapters. I'm reviewing 3 of them right now. We My Hero Academia, Black Clover, One Piece, Boruto, and Blue Exorcist. Yes, I'm going to do Blue Exorcist, okay? Next video. Bye.